What up out there, YouTube heads? Travel Wolves in the building. All right, I'm back. About to get started in a moment. So I'm just going to wait for people to come on in. In the meantime, let me show you something new that we just did. Let's get your measurements done. All right, let's go get your measurements done. I forgot. Okay, I'm back, guys. So somebody said that I should talk about money and investing. Um, so I said, what the hell? Something different to discuss. It's really raining hard right now. So if I get disconnected, that's why it's really raining hard. But I wish you could see it. It's really coming down out there. That's why it's good to have a roof over your head. I know. The mic was off. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Only Strong. So a couple of things to run by. Go in and check out the Not a Passport Bro comic. We got 13 more days left. Also, I'm excited to talk about how my super chats are on and the Black Man's Handbook membership is on. And I got to set up the member space for investing. So, talking about investments and money. It's something that I'm really good at, but I don't like to talk about it a lot. One thing about people who have money is we don't talk about money. That's a rule. That's one rule. That's one rule we don't like to talk about. So, without further ado, let's go into this discussion. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. You can be rich and you can be wealthy are two different things. Rich is really based on your income. Like my parents, they were rich. By contrast, I'm not rich compared to my parents. But my parents, they were rich. They were not wealthy. Difference. Um, Wealthy is the basis of your assets, stocks, home, things like that. Mostly land, which can include a home and stocks, okay, or other things, cash on hand, savings, things like that, pension, 401ks, just type of things. Ownership, basically. is what wealth is. When you have the ability to put someone to work for you, like how YouTube is doing with me right now. YouTube puts me to work. I'm going to go into all that. YouTube puts me to work for them. And now they're worth billions. And they put me to work for them on YouTube. They put all of us to work on YouTube. Now, and so rich can be income. Rich can be derived from income. Okay? Rich can be derived from income. Now, does anybody know what Google is really called? Does anybody know the name of Google? Does anybody know what Google is really called? See, when you say Google, you think of you just think of the name, right? You think of Google. But if you were to buy stock in Google, what would it be called? Right? You don't know what, okay, so you don't know the name of Google? The name of Google as a company is not really Google. That's the first trick they play on you. But underneath Google is an umbrella. Google is an umbrella. Underneath it are all of these companies. So this is how you get wealthy. Okay. The simplest way. Once upon a time, and I use this as an example because in our lifetime, there was never a Google. There was nothing. There was like what was it? What was the big thing in our time? IBM, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, shit like that, McDonald's. There was never a Google. It was brand new. It's like they just invented it. Apple, Google, all the FANG companies are brand new. Okay. That's your Facebook, which is now Meta, your Apple, your Amazon, your Google, your Netflix. These are the FANG companies. They're thinking about building the NASDAQ around these 5 companies if they keep performing well. Because we have the Dow Jones based off of the top producing companies. And that average is how you were able to tell if the market was moving a certain way or not. But nobody follows that shit. Anyway, the name of Google is called Alphabet. Alphabet Inc. That's the name of Google. That's the real name of the company. It's called Alphabet. And how did these guys get rich? How did YouTube come about, right? Once upon a time, how did these guys get wealthy? Some of them were already wealthy because they inherited money. That's the original way. Okay, so America started by plunder. America started by plunder. What does that mean? Plunder was the original way you got wealthy. Rich was just having money coming in. If you have money coming in, you're rich. If you have more money coming in than your expenses going out, you're rich. When you have a deficit, you're poor. But to get wealthy, the old-fashioned way of getting wealthy was plunder. That's how all this started. They would leave their country, they would sail the high seas, they would find new land, they would get off the ships. The people who were already there would come up to them and be like, hey, how are you? And they would cut their heads off, burn the villages, rape the women, kill everybody, and take people into enslavement. Then they would claim the land for themselves. Then they would go back home and they would sell the land to people back home. And that's how they got wealthy. They would they didn't sell it right away. I mean, they would lease it to people back home. And that's how they got wealthy. You can literally trace all of this back. You can literally find out what's going on in the world by tracing all this back. All the people involved. There's actually great records and documents and everything. Like these people just didn't disappear. Their families are still around today. They just hide very well. The wealthiest families in the world, the oldest ones, the ones with the real old money, they just hide very well. Some of their money is in the shit that we use right now. Apple and Google's and all this other stuff and oil and all that stuff. All the money's all over the place. Okay, money they got from plunder. That was the original way you got wealth. Then you inherited your wealth. That was the other way you got wealthy. And at one time, and this is kind of like a bit of a difficult thing to understand, but at one time, people like me as property were more valuable than white people. We were considered wealth. The enslaver would die. There's actually a name for him. It's not master or enslaver. There's actually a name for them. Let me find the name for them. But that person would die, and then they would leave their enslaved people or enslaved property to someone else. And that's what made someone wealthy back in those times. And so, trying to find a name for you guys. There was a name for it. For a person who practiced slavery, there was a name that they had for them. Not enslaver, it was a technical name, but I'm going to figure it out. So, at one time, we were more valuable than anything. When people say we built America, they don't mean we built America with our own hands and feet. We did do that part, but the way that we really built America was by being of worth, you know, because you were property. They could take you, they could sell you, resell you, you know, exchanges, loan you out, things like that. All these things. It was a very mercantile system. Very mercantile system. And that's really what the heart of the Civil War was about. Money. The North wanted to tax us. They wanted us. We couldn't earn anything, but they wanted to make money off of our work. And the Confederacy said they don't own anything. So whatever you tax them, it's coming out of my pocket. Because see, enslavement allowed the company to catch up to the rest of the world. America would be a third world country if not for enslavement of the people of Turtle Island. It would be a third world country right now today. It would never caught up. That's why they exploited people who were already here. They would have never caught up. So that's how they created wealth. That's how white people created all their wealth. And then they brought in immigrants. And what they did with the immigrants was they gave the immigrants inherited strong economic systems. Okay? They inherited strong economic systems. And I know you guys are thinking, what does this have to do with money and investing? But there's no real way to start. So I'm just starting from the beginning because you can't just jump in without understanding where all the money comes from. You got to understand where all the money comes from because it's gonna come right back to where we're at today. Okay. Hold on 1 second here. One second here. Slaveholder, that was the term. But that's not what they called them. The abolitionists had another name for them, but we'll call them slaveholder. So if you were a slaveholder, you were rich, but you really just had the right to own people because of their undesignated ethnic appearance, meaning they look like this, they look like us. Okay, and there were Europeans who were enslaved. They had indentured servants and all that. But anyway, you don't need a history lesson. You just need to understand the purpose of this. Everything that America earned, every coin, was done through enslavement. This allowed them to catch up to the rest of the world. America is still the youngest country in the world, I believe. It's still the youngest country in the world compared to other countries. It's the youngest nation, it's the youngest country. Okay. There's countries that are older than they are nations. There's nations that are older than the country that they're in. And that's a history lesson. But because a country and a nation are two different things. So now the stock market, I won't go into all of that, but basically they were making so much money, and with immigrants coming in, they needed more capital. They needed more capital. They could not rely on enslavement anymore. So they needed more capital. So they invented the stock market. They invented a way to sell equity. What is equity? Well, equity is the simplest formula for getting wealthy. It just means it's another way of saying you put money in to buy ownership of something. That's not really the definition of it, but it's the best way for you to understand it. That's equity. Okay. So what they did was they said, hey, this company makes tiles, and this piece of paper gives you equity. $50 gives you equity in this company. And that $50 can be worth more or less depending on a lot of things. But at first, it was just a way to put $50 somewhere that would grow. The stock market grows faster than a savings account. There's nothing on the planet that gives you a better return than the markets all around the world. Let me put my disclaimer in too. This is in no way advisement or solicitation or investment advice. So that's how the stock market, that was the purpose of the stock market. Okay. The wealthy people had all this money, all this cash money that was at risk because dollar value exchanges, all this cash money was at risk of being worthless, and they needed to put it into something of value, and that was the fictitious thing called the corporation, where you buy equity. And that's pretty much what it is. That's how you get wealthy. You get wealthy by buying equity. There's no such thing as worthless equity. Equity always has a value. That's what you see going on right now in the big tech race of the last 24 years. And so to get to the good part, there's no real way to shortcut it, but to get to the good part, people get wealthy now because we don't hop on ships. Back in the day, I'd be like, only the strong and me and you and this one, we're going to fly a flag, a pirate flag. We're going to sail the high seas. We're going to attack other ships, steal their shit, kill them, throw them overboard, sell some shit, keep some shit, bury the rest of the shit, and then do it again, right? Until we get our necks on the gallows, until we become the hunted, right? That's what piracy is. That's what you saw the Somalis stealing the oil tankers, but that's not what they were doing. That's something different. But I mean, they were accused of doing piracy, but those weren't really oil tankers, and I'll talk about that some other time. But that's what they were supposedly claimed to have been doing, was modern day piracy, stealing shit on the high seas. But anyway, we don't do that no more. There's no way to exploit environments, people. So there's no way to make any real money anymore, except And then you had the stock market, which became oversaturated. After a while, it became oversaturated. So they had to invent something else. That's where you had them. That's where you went through the blue chip period. The stock market went through so much corruption and dirt, and it crashed and runoffs. It was like a nightmare. People were really losing their shirt and diving off of buildings. They were broke because all their equity was in these paper, and this paper was bottoming out, and they were panicked because they were on paper they were worth $1 million one day, and the next day they were worth nothing. But they never thought, I'm not worth anything. I still have the equity. The business is still there. It's just no way for me to create revenue with the business right now. And so that turns into another period of what we call credit, which is different. Credit is not equity, credit is debt. So you have the two things. You have equity and you have credit. Equity minus credit is your worth. That's how much you're worth. Okay. Now they invented some new shit, and then we had the blue chip stocks. Blue chip stocks was what I just named: your Coca-Cola, your McDonald's, your Pepsi. These are stocks that they hold your money really good. They don't do well, they don't do bad, but they hold the value of your money really good because there's two types of investors. You have bulls and you have bears, and then they say you have pigs, but that's something different too. But you have bulls and you have bears. I'm a bull. I'm a bull investor. I take a lot of risk. I see the market always going up, 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 up. And you have a bear investor. A bear investor is conservative. They don't like risk. They worry about the market going down, 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 down. These are the guys that sell at the first sign of a downturn. The stock goes down, they're selling. Sell, 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 sell. I'm a bull. The stock goes down, I'm buying. Buy, 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 buy. And this is called the invisible hand theory in economics. It's supposed to be how the stock market stays volatile without sinking, without tanking, and other safeguards. But that's not necessarily the case. That's where you have insider trading and other things going on. So it can be coordinated, it can be orchestrated, or like the movie I'm telling you guys to watch, the movie, it can be outlying factors. Where in this case, these guys stood to make an easy kill. They stood to make an easy killing with GameStop. They were going to kill GameStop. But there was an outlier who came along and fucked their plans up because of this new medium called the internet and social media. And people were like, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy this stock. It's like if I come on here and I say, I put $500 into this stock, and then you buy $500, and everybody who watches this video buys $500 into this stock. Maybe I'll sit here and we'll all open up brokerage accounts and we'll all buy $500 in the stock. If we all buy $500 in the same stock, now we're operating like a sanction because we're not doing it knowing each other. So we're just sanctioning it. But if we do it knowing each other, now we're a investment cartel because we're not necessarily regulated, but what we're doing is not necessarily illegal unless one of us works for the company. So that's a whole nother so that's why I say it's so complicated. But you can form funds and things like they do. You can start the same shit that they do. What they don't tell you is they have their money come from universities, colleges, pension funds, city government, and all that money. The money that comes from colleges and universities is funneled from. It's like money laundering for the original wealthy people in America who made their money through enslavement and wars. Yes, wars like World War I and World War II and Korean War and Vietnam War and Desert Storm. And so they put their money into colleges, and then the colleges launder it by giving it to these fund guys, these institutional fund guys who are invested in the stock market. That's why if you watch the movie, you hear them say retail buyers, wholesale buyers. These guys buy millions of shares where you only buy a couple tens of shares. It's a big difference. That's I wanted to buy Netflix because we need to fire these guys. That's the only way we're gonna get Good Times, the animated series, off. And I had Chat GTP tell me how much it's gonna cost to buy Netflix. It's gonna cost $78.5 billion to buy enough of a position in Netflix that we can have voting control at the market today. And that's what you do when you get equity. You get equity gives you two things, what you call a stock. It gives you voting control and it gives you a share of the revenue of the profits or the revenue. It depends on the bylaws, but you get a share of the profits. In this case, your share price can increase because it's a profitable company. More people are going to buy the stock. When more people buy the stock, the price goes up. The less of that company's stock on the market, the more people are willing to pay for it. And you just ride the wave. It goes up. Like if you look at Alphabet right now, or you look at Amazon, these people on paper, and that's a whole nother thing later about how you're probably wondering, well, if all their money is in the stock and the stock makes them a millionaire, then how do they have liquidity or how do they have any money? Aha. That, my friend, is not what I really discuss with you guys. That's what I got to bring an economist around for. I mean, I can discuss it with you guys, but I'm more likely to fuck it up, to fumble it. But I understand how it works. I just can't talk about it in a way that you'll be clear, right? But I can tell you that, remember when I told you there's only two assets. There's things called assets. Mainly there's just two. The asset could be anything. It's anything that has an appraisable value. But the main two that guys like us deal with are our homes and our 401k, our IRA, our pension, something like that. Or stocks. If you own stocks, you have an asset. So what you got to do is get you a balance sheet. In the balance sheet, you have your assets. It's going to be like your cash. If you own a car outside, little beater you got, how much equity you have in your home, any stocks, and that's how much you're worth. And then your debt. And then you take that, and that figure is your on that figure that you can subtract the debt from the balance of your assets. And that's how much you're worth. That shows liquidity. That's why you try not to have debt. The reason why debt is bad is because they just haven't taken you to court. They couldn't take everybody to court because everybody carries a certain amount of debt. So they invented the credit report, which is something different. But that's how people that own Google and Netflix and Amazon, people that own these stocks that are wealthy on paper, they leverage that to get credit. And they take the credit and they either live off the credit or they invest the credit in something else, or they open a business with the credit, which is the same type of investment. That's how they stay wealthy. That's it. It's that simple. But there's more complexities to doing it. The way to do it, you would have to talk to an economist. That's what I can't help you with. But that's really what they do. So they never sell their position. They're never going to sell. They're never going to sell unless they're bear and they see it start to go down. Then they sell so that they can pay their debt. The people that they owe the debt to ain't worried about them paying as long as they make the interest payments, and those are easy to make. You never have to pay the principal as long as you pay the interest. You're not in default, and interest payments are easy to make, especially for white people, because white people got all kinds of shit going on, all kinds of money falling from the sky, and inheritance, and all kinds of schemes and concoctions. But anyway, now you're asking yourself, well, what do they do with the money that they borrow, that they get from their investments? Well, they can't put it back into these companies because in the beginning, a company's stock was really, really low. It was so pathetically low. But if you brought in at $5 and the company did really well, they became really successful. Like if you bought Apple or Amazon or Netflix when they first started, and now they're doing really, really successful, you would be a multimillionaire. That's it. That's how it works. White people, the truth about it is for white people are risk takers. White people are risk takers. And black people, well, we're just not risk takers. We're just not risk takers. We don't come from those type of families. You know what I'm saying? We don't come from those families where we sat around a table and opened the Wall Street Journal and those type of things. I mean, I did. I came from a family that only read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journals and Black Enterprise. When you came into my house, that's what was on the coffee table. It was the New York Times, that was my mother, because she was a professor. It was the Wall Street Journal, that was my dad, because he wanted to be a stockbroker, but that's another story about his life. I got to do his life story. And why he didn't achieve that, but that was his interest, was the stock market. And there was which is why I did end up becoming a broker, well, a trainee to become a broker. I attempted to become a broker. And then you had Black Enterprise magazine. And like the one thing I remember from Black Enterprise magazine was this one cover that my parents had on the table. And the cover had this black family trying to buy this mansion that was for sale, but the for sale sign said whites only. That always stuck with me in my head. I never understood it till later what it meant, but it always stuck with me in my head, you know. So Black Enterprise magazine, that was like the business magazine for black people. You had black people who had Jet and Ebony, and you had black people who had Black Enterprise magazine. And I was a Black Enterprise magazine family. I was a Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and then when I started to intern at brokerage houses, I started to look at all the other stuff like Bloomberg and Moody's and stuff like that. You know, so when Michael Bloomberg became mayor of New York, probably few people outside of the investment world actually knew who he was, but we used to use his tool called Morningstar to print out the daily reports. My job as an intern when I was in high school working at a brokerage firm was to print out the Morningstar reports for the partners and the person I was interning for, the senior partner, for their positions. So I would have to go upstairs to this special office where they did a little bit of open trading. Because my place I was in private, they had a little open trading desk upstairs, and then I would go to the computer and type it and print out these reports every day. That was my job. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. So now you guys got to watch some movies. You can watch Wall Street, you can watch Margin Call, you can watch Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, you can watch The Big Short. You can watch some of these movies and it'll get you up to speed really quick about how things work. Now, the big shots, they play the options market. The big shots play short and long positions all day, but that shit'll break you. That shit'll break you. The get-rich-quick schemers, they do day trading, but that's a get-rich-quick scheme. And you really got to be sitting there all day doing micro trades of milliseconds and all kinds of weirdo shit. Then you have these hedge fund guys, and that's pretty much just gambling. But you can combine hedge funds with options, and you get pretty much the essence of what dumb money is about. They were hedging, and they were gambling, and somebody else came along who didn't know what the fuck they were doing and just started making bets against them just because they thought it was fun. They come along with their little bit of money, and they were like, I had nothing to lose. I'm going to bet against those guys. And it turned out that other people saw it and were like, hey, he's betting against the big shot. Let's do it too. It'll be fun. It'll be shits and giggles. And it was shits and giggles until Shit got serious. And these people started to be worth a lot of money. And then what happened was they had to decide the ethics of making themselves liquidity rich, putting that money into their bank account, or holding on to the stock. That's always been a philosophical dilemma. It's called the windfall. It's called the windfall. Back in the old days, grandpa, and granny grams would take their money, they would make a phone call, they would write a check, and they would buy stock. They would buy a bunch of stock and just leave it and forget about it. And they would raise your parents like any day was normal. Sometimes, they don't even pay attention to how much the money was worth. Then they get old, they make a will. Your parents have kids, they make a will. They say, I did everything for you. I don't like you no more. And then they would leave the stock to the children. And then they would pass on, and it'd be an estate, and it'd be a trust, and it would sit there for another 20 years. So grandma Gramps and grandpa Gramps and grandmas, 50 years of investing, and then it's not touched, and your parents come of age and have you in their 20s, and then it's not touched, and then 20 years after that. So that's 50 years. Then your parents are grown. They have you. That's 20 years. So that's 70 years. 70 years of holding on to stocks. And then those kids, those grandkids inherit millions and millions of dollars. And then they go and they buy a home and they own their home. And so, and they make investments back in the market. And it goes on like that. They don't have any debt because they can pay for college up front, come out of school. Because college is an investment. College is not a benevolent thing. It's a business. College, hospitals, and attorneys are all businesses. These are not benevolent. These are not privileges. These are businesses. You got your legal representation, your medical healthcare provider, and your higher education. You got to pay for this shit. It's not nonprofits, not non-profitable. It's profitable. These are businesses. These are businesses. Understand that. So people invest in these type of businesses. They invest to become lawyers or doctors or professors. Master's degree, become a professor. You get into the game. This is how you can get into the game. Now, what happens is how you get money today. I don't know if I should say this because I can't really say it, but I gotta speak for myself then. Okay. How I would get wealthy today is I would find, and this is the one thing Obama did, the Jobs Act. This is the one thing that Obama did. He fucking opened up regulation. He helped black people in the one way he could. Because let me tell you how this used to work. Okay. You guys ever heard of an IPO, initial public offering? It's the dream. It is the dream of every founder, of every person who starts a company, to take their company public in a sale of securities, in a sale of equity. It's like turning your company into a motherfucking Whole Foods. People come in, they buy, you get money. You give them nothing, you get money. They come into the market and say, I want to buy that company right there. I see the press releases. I see the sneakers running around, Nike, Puma. I want to buy that company. Okay. Before, only what they call seasoned investors could do that. There were laws against that. You had to already be doing several initial public offerings before you were legally allowed to really do one. So if you were just like, hey, I got some money, I'm gonna go get it into this IPO, you couldn't do it unless you had a record of doing IPOs. They would want to see that you were what they call a seasoned investor, I think it was called at the time. They changed it though, but it's blue sky laws basically. They didn't want you to blow your brains out if you lost everything in your shirt. So you were familiar with how this worked. Because it's not a get rich quick scheme, and you can lose all your investments. You can lose all your liquidity in the IPO overnight because you're not selling, you're buying. You don't know what you're buying. You don't know when Amazon came out, nobody knew it was going to be anything. If you knew what he knew, that he had tracked, somehow he was able to, well, no, he conducted. See, people think what Jeff Bezos did was start a company. He didn't take the money he got to start a company. You can watch his movie on Amazon, Bezos. Let me pull it up for you. He didn't take the money to buy a company. There was a very limited internet at the time. There was no ChatGPT. All your research required you to go into a library, a business library, economics library. The internet was in its infancy. It was just like it was pregnant. It was in its mother's womb. It hadn't been born yet. But he figured out how to research, and he discovered the growth of the internet. I mean, Bezos. I'm sorry, I call him Bose. Bezos. He discovered how to track the growth of the internet. And he tells you that in this movie. And what he did was, based on that, based on what he was doing as an analyst, and based on the research that told him the growth over the next 20 years, he predicted that starting an internet-based business, a solely internet-based business, was a good move. And that's where the philosophy of getting there first comes from. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna get you the movie trailer. Hold on. We about to queue up the movie trailer. Here it goes right here. Okay. So this is the movie that you guys can watch right now. It's on Amazon. I highly recommend you watch this movie. Okay. I highly recommend you watch this movie because this is the perfect example.
Hey, it's Jeff Bezos. You know how you said if I ever had a big idea to call you, and this is it.
So you don't understand why you calling yourself the world's biggest bookstore offends me. Well, it's because it's a goddamn lie. We hold that title and will for many more years to come.
You're the youngest vice president of the fastest growing hedge fund in America. You make a six-figure salary, and you want to throw all of that away to what? Sell books?
I thought you liked the idea.
I do like the idea. I actually think it's a great idea, but it's not for me. And I definitely don't think it's for you.
Now, imagine a virtual store that was open.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So what he did was now you heard his real history. See, they sell you. Remember when I told you guys this shit is all lies? These rags to riches, these people making it by their bootstraps, and they're so fucking brilliant and they're geniuses. No, you just heard him. He was already working for a hedge fund. He was already making $250K, maybe more than that. He was probably making $400,000 a year for several years. His parents, his parents' his in-laws loaned him $500,000 to start what was called Cadabra. And he took that money and did research and was able to discern the growth of the internet. He talks about it in the movie. And you know how this movie has so much game in it? Because it's a movie about pretty much the third richest man on the planet. and you've never heard about it. It's on Amazon, but they don't show you it. They don't talk about it. They don't. It's like they hiding it, but they not hiding it. They just not letting it be in plain sight. You see what I'm saying? But if you watch this movie, it would take you to a quantum leap. But what I'm going to tell you, it'll catch you up so fast. But that's what he did. Amazon does not sell books. Let's get that. Amazon doesn't sell anything. What he created was the cornerstone of the internet for customer service and fulfillment. Yeah, 1,000 ways to make 1,000. Yep. Yeah. Well, of course it's outdated, but you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? You gotta. Hey, it worked for me. You see where I'm at? It worked for me. This ain't no Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? So it worked for me. What's $1,000 100 times? It worked for me. So I mean, it's a little things that you do that get you 1,000, and you do 100 of them. It's that fucking simple, But I'm glad you liked it. Maybe somebody will update it. I don't know. But it just was meant to be a start for everyone. I'm glad let me go get the book. Hold on a minute, because maybe that's where I need to start with you guys. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. So there's 2 books that are very important to me. There's actually 4 books, but I only have 2 of them now. I don't have the other 2, but I'll tell you what they are. They're Reginald Lewis, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? You got to read that book. And there's another book that's about I forgot what it's called. It's called The Fourth. Hold on, what is it called? Shit. It's called The Fourth Way. Is that it? Yeah, okay. There's another book called The Fourth Way, which I haven't ever gotten through. It's pretty complicated read, but those are my 2 favorite books. And then these 2 will make you money. These 2 books are all you need to make money in the world. This one, which I share with you guys, nobody is going to. Man, let me tell you, the amount of research it took me to get to this book, and there was another book I had, but that's about philosophy. That's about Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism. It's a red book. I lost it. Man, I can't even remember what the title was. I got to find that one. That book was hard to research, to learn. So there's certain books that have knowledge in it for real development and money. What you got to focus on is these books, not the gym. The gym ain't going to help you. And there's this book too. This book right here. These 2 books will help you make money. Okay. So I have 4 books that I live by in my life. Those are 2 of them. I don't have the other 2 right now, but so and these books travel with me. When I travel, I bring my books with me. But anyway, I'm glad you were paying attention. Thank you for that information. I'm glad you were paying attention. Yeah, it's for beginners. I mean, they got to start somewhere. So anyway, that's what Bezos did. Okay, he started a company. And low key, Amazon really provides customer service and fulfillment for everyone. Low key. They just don't tell you that. That's their real business. That's what he saw. Yeah, the 4-Hour Work Week and Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, that's a dated book. Rich Dad Poor Dad's a dated book, but 4-Hour Work Week is good. And 4-Hour Work Week is good. Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Wealthy Barber. Those are like the old books our fathers used to read when they were executives. along with How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was the stack of books they would be assigned whenever they started an executive job. But that's cool. That's cool. So that's what Amazon really is. Okay. Amazon does all the customer service, and that's what they didn't want you to know. This is information you could have never knew the growth of the internet back then. You could have never knew the growth of the internet back then. Never. You could have never knew it because it wasn't like right now. You could look it up. You could. Well, it doesn't matter. This version of the internet is dead, and they're already aligning. They're already aligning for the next iteration of the internet. They already got the next iteration of the internet on deck, like standing by. And then they already jumped into robotics. They're already jumping into robotics, like androids. Basically, they already jumped into androids. Let's see. Big Boss says, find a way you can make money sleeping nowadays. Yeah, that's the internet. That's mainly the internet. That's it's called the dark web. No, it's not the dark web. No. So the next iteration of the internet is VR, virtual reality, the metaverse. What Facebook became, Meta. And now Apple Vision Pro, Apple is making their version of the metaverse. And anytime Apple commits to something, it's big. It's big. They tried it with the headphones. They tried their own headphones. That ain't work too good. So they just brought Beats by Dre. They just brought them. They brought Beats by Dre and made him a billionaire. Okay, because they wanted to get into the headphone market because they saw how big it was. So they committed to the audiology of music because selling music is a cornerstone of their business that they want to grow. And they know that as a comfort brand, their hardware is the best. That's really what they are. They're a hardware company. Their hardware is the best. And they wanted the best quality headphones for you to listen to your music because then you're going to listen to the music more. Shit, I even got AirPods around here somewhere. And I used to have Beats by Dre. I brought Beats by Dre to be cool. Then I brought the AirPods to be cooler. You know? So now they did the Apple Vision Pro, which is all of that shit, all of this in one self-contained unit. And in a little while, they'll have it in this size. It'll be glasses. Everyone will wear glasses. And then it'll be contacts. That shit's right around the corner. And the digital growth of VR, oh my God. The digital growth of VR, it can't even begin to be comprehended because it is digital assets, what they call NFTs. It is digital assets within digital assets within digital assets within digital assets that own digital assets. See, I have a prediction about AI. I predict that AI will be seen, not in our lifetime, but one day AI will be seen as workers, and you have to pay them to do the work for you. And so they'll have bank accounts and their own shit in this virtual space. So you think about 12 billion people on the planet, everybody has an AI, it's 12 billion virtual people all working. And, you know, it's just crazy to think about it. But you can own a part of the virtual world right now. Everybody on the planet can own a part of the virtual world, but nobody's invested in the skills to build virtual worlds. It's such a small group, and they're going to lock it down soon. Once you start making it, when you start selling these skills and teaching people Unity, Unreal Engine, some simple coding, they're going to lock it down, and it's going to become cronyism. Then you got AI. AI is the next iteration of the internet. AI, that's the next iteration of the internet. And unfortunately, it won't be around that long because androids are going to come, and you won't no longer have to do the input device. You won't no longer have to do the laptop. Your Android will stand there. It'll answer questions. It'll know what you want before you know it. It'll project shit on the wall. I mean, you'll have sex with it. It'll be your best friend. It'll be your bodyguard. You'll be able to do all kinds of surrogacy stuff where you VRing through the Android. The Android's going out, meeting other Androids. And you talk about the world of the future of dating. I mean, this is all the stuff that's happening right now. And black people are just sitting in a corner. Most of the world is just sitting in the corner while white people are taking their money and investing in these things. And you think, well, how do they get money invested in these things? Because like with anything, they buy it when it's worthless. They buy it. A select group of people have been able to only get into IPOs for a very long time. The ability to buy something when it was worthless, and then it becomes worth something. It sounds cheesy, but if you buy something for $1 today and it appraises to $1,000 in several years, that's a huge difference than buying it at $1,000 today, where most people are allowed to get their hands on it. Follow what I'm saying? So you see all these VC firms and these tech accelerators like Y Combinator, with the exception of Y Combinator and a few, they're self-sufficient because they made good bets. They brought equity in Airbnbs and the DoorDashes and the GitHub. They made good bets that allowed them to have their own money. But most VC money, it's your pension money. It's the military pensions. It's the teachers' pensions. It's the college professors' pensions. It's anybody who has a pension or invest in an IRA or a 401k or any type of fund. They take your money, they take a little bit of it, and they give it to VCs, and VCs go and invest it in the newest startup. That's why if you have an AI startup, you can get a check written today for anything. But the problem with having an AI startup is you have to be able to be a technical founder and do some of the work yourself. Okay. No, we're not talking about the dark web. The dark web is something different. That's an outlier of the internet. That's really what they thought the internet would be. Early 80s hackers, thought it would be like that, where you would set up your own server and you would have your own, but they could never penetrate the monopoly. So telecommunications is what you call a trust, meaning that there'll never be no more new telecommunication companies. AT&T, they broke them up. Then there was Verizon. It's a trust. They own the telecommunications. The only way you're really going to have a real dark web is if you can put your own satellite into space. And to do that, you're going to have to deal with a lot of shady people. And you might get a bullet in the back of your head by other national intelligence agencies. Because you're not going to be in America, I know that for a fact, talking about you want to put a satellite into space, working with a foreign nation to do it. You understand? That's the only way you're going to have a true dark web. That's why when you use the internet today, you're using the Trust Telecommunications Network. You guys don't know what that is. It doesn't exist, but you heard it from me. It's all connected to government agencies. They eavesdrop. They know they gotta allow a little alley, a little bit of stuff, but certain things they're not going to look away from. But they gotta allow a little bit of stuff to happen. You're not doing it with, you know what would be really cool if you was able to, and some people did this. You guys remember DirecTV and what was it? DirecTV. What was the other company? There was DirecTV and the other company, the two satellite companies. People were able to take that converter, use that dish, and turn it into a satellite receiver for using the internet, a satellite transmitter and a receiver for using the internet. That was the only way you were really off of the line, as they call it. It's the line. As long as you're a part of, like I'm part of the line right now. I'm part of the line. As long as you stay on the line, you're not going to be doing no dark web shit because they're eavesdropping. Like I looked up the U.S. attorney. As soon as I hit that wiki link, they wanted to know my location. They wanted to know why I was looking at the fourth most powerful man in the world, or they wanted to know where I was at. But if I clicked on that shit, that also gives them access to my computer, so they can see what I'm up to. Why I want to read his dossier. Why I want to learn about him. Okay, you don't believe me? You go try it and watch you get the same results. Watch your browser say, "Where's your location at?" Gaddafi tried to put a satellite in space. Yeah, exactly. You would get a bullet in the back of your brain. Exactly. You would get a bullet. There are a lot of, like, that's what, see, we know that that's what happened to him. There are several national security intelligence agencies that won't allow you to put a satellite into space for a lot of reasons. I'm not going to speculate on the reasons, but you will get a bullet in the back of your brain. But that's the only way you're really going to have a real dark web. That's the only way. When they don't know what the fuck is going on, and they gotta send an astronaut up there to tap into it, or they gotta shoot it down. You can have a low sync something satellite. It's a satellite that's not in space, but it's pretty high up there. Geo orbit, something is called. But anyway, back to investing, back to wealth. So basically, how this works is the IPO market, okay? It's called the initial public offering. So somebody starts a company and they do the regulation, which is pretty easy to do. They do the regulation, and like I can show you how easy it is. They do the regulation, and then they don't really do an IPO, but they do a way where they sell you equity. Like somebody can sell you equity right now. You could buy equity. Like I'm thinking about selling equity in my company for crypto. I got the documents, everything's ready. I'm gonna sell equity for crypto. I want to sell my equity for crypto because I want to take your crypto, and the crypto always holds value. I'm just not sure what the terms are of you liquidating. That's why most people, when they buy equity in a company, it's a commitment to the company. You can't just buy it and then you fall on hard times and you want your money back. It don't work like that. It does work like that, but the equity is gonna be sold back to you at a lesser value to compensate for a lot of things, mainly because that money was used to grow the company. So I'm working on doing that right now. I'm working on selling equity in my company. Because like you see how Amazon just started with books? Well, I'm doing something else. It looks like I'm doing polos, but I'm not doing polos. This is just the thing I had to do. But I don't really sell polos. There's something else that this company does there's something else that the Winner Circle does that I'm keeping hush hush. But it's bigger. It's monumentously bigger. It scales so fast and it puts me into the metaverse, and it's so much bigger than selling polos that it's crazy. And I want to sell my equity for crypto. I don't want fiat notes. I want crypto for my equity. Now, this is what Obama did for us. Obama allowed you to participate in unregulated IPOs. Okay, not necessarily IPOs on the stock exchange, but similar. So you could buy into these companies, you can make investments, which you can't really do too much anymore because the good ones that go to like the Y Combinators and the Collab Capital, you can't really get into those no more. They block you out. They keep that for the wealthy. You got to find someone who's not in a tech accelerator. But you can buy equity, and then as the company grows and becomes successful, then it goes on the stock market, and they opened up what they call spec companies. So if you guys remember what a shelf company was, remember the shelf corporations? When you did an incorporation, if you was playing that LLC, incorporation game, you would buy one off the shelf for $3,000, one that was like just in name created and was around for 3 or 4 years, not doing anything, not dormant. It was active, but it was just there. You can buy a shelf LLC or a shelf corporation if you were playing that game. You guys remember that? So what Obama did that we never took advantage of, that they don't want us to know, but I know because I know everything, is the spec. Is it called spec? What is it called? Ah, fuck. Hold on a minute. So there's a loophole to doing an IPO because the IPO is a very, very, very complicated thing. And hold on a minute here. What the fuck was it called? Hold on. Hold on a minute. I forgot what it was called now. My mind went blank. Hold on. Okay, hold on a minute. So, because I used to have money in this company that was called Archer Aviation, and they did what they call a Let me see here. 1 second. What is the name of it? Fuck. I gotta buy my stock back at Archer, because damn, I could give y'all. I should put a whole thing together because they really moving. So doing an IPO is a very, 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 very complicated process. Okay? It's a very, very complicated process. And it requires a lot of regulation. It's the initial public offering. You had to be in business for like 10 years and you had to have all kinds of shit going on. You already had to have money. You already had to be selling equity. You had to do a lot of stuff, to get that IPO. And guess what? You could put a lot of money into the IPO just to be able to do an IPO and be denied. Or sometimes the market is such a slow process that when the market was favorable to you to do an IPO, the doors were closed, and then it wasn't favorable to you to do an IPO. And you probably heard that scenario, like with what was that? What's that app? What's that app? The audio app. The app that people talk. Shit, my mind going blank today. That app people talk. Live Room. What's the app that people talk? App where people talk. What the fuck is that app? Where people talk. I can't believe I forgot about it. I use Clubhouse. Is that it? Clubhouse. It's not Clubhouse. What's the app and people talk? Is it Clubhouse? Is that the app where people talk? Anyway, there's a social media app where people talk. And I guess it's Clubhouse. Is it Clubhouse? I can't remember. I don't want to say it's Clubhouse. I can't even remember. I used to be on it all the time. It's funny. I used to be on it all the time. Maybe it was Clubhouse. I can't remember. But I used to be on it all the fucking time. And it's an audio app. So they were going to go public. And then the market changed, and so they had to postpone their IPO. And it happened with a couple of companies like Uber. You know, it happened with a couple of companies where they had to suspend their IPO. But anyway, oh yeah, okay, it's Clubhouse. Okay, Clubhouse. Okay, Clubhouse. Yeah, it's Clubhouse. So they had to change a couple of things, and they had to wait till the next window opened up, right? So Obama, people think Obama didn't do nothing for us. I let them win that argument because they don't really understand what he could do. They don't understand the job of the president. The president has like really one job. And if you don't know what that job is, then you already lost and you can just leave right now. If you don't know what the job of the president is, then you can just leave right now. But he only has one job. But Obama hooked us up. Now, whether or not we take advantage of it is a whole other thing. And I'm not going to be out here breaking my neck. It's easier for me to take my skills to people who got the money to pay me than it is to beg people to see my vision and give me money, because I could just make my money and put my money back into myself. And then I could take it and go sell it to someone else who has the money to give me what I want. And that's it. I make things available, but I'm not gonna push it. You know, it's just because the people I want to invest in me, to buy into me, are African American and Black men. But we don't take any risk. White people are taking all the risk. White people do all of that shit. That's why they're wealthy. They take monumental risk. They cheat, they scheme, they defraud, they lie, they steal. White collar crime is a big thing. A big fucking thing in New York is white collar crime. You got a murderer and you got a white collar crime, a white collar criminal standing next to each other in court. Who you think gonna get the least amount of time, but got all the money? I mean, they just started really putting restitution in and shit like that. They wasn't doing that before, but they just started putting a restitution in. But you know, people laugh at the crypto dude, Sam, whatever his name is, and all that. But he made a lot of fucking money. You know, he made a lot of fucking money. If the time it takes to go from zero to a lot of fucking money, if that includes prison time, well, fuck. I'm gonna win, even if I gotta cheat. Sign me up. You know what I'm saying? Sign me up. So what Obama did that nobody talks about. What Obama did that nobody talks about is he allowed for the formation of, I might be saying this wrong. I might be saying it wrong. What is that? A SPAC? Let me put this in the thing. You guys can tell me what this means. You guys can tell me what this means. So I'm gonna give you a stock. I'm gonna give you some information about a company that I was involved in as an investor, but I sold because I didn't like the way it was going. It wasn't moving fast enough for me. I'm not sure what the stock is now. I don't even know if that's gonna work. Hold on. Let me share this with you guys. Oh, hold on. Hold on. All right. This is what it is. This is what Obama gave us. Remember, I told you if you played the corporation LLC game, and those who know that game know what I'm talking about. You would buy a shelf corporation or a shelf LLC. These are companies that people. It was a good business too. It's still a good business to do. It just takes a couple of years. You make a corporation or you make an LLC. You keep it solvent. and you get the N number and all that, and you just put it up on a shelf. And then after 2 or 3 years, you can sell it to someone. Why would they buy it? Well, I'm not going to give that game away, but they buy it for certain reasons. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But this is what Obama gave us. He gave us a special purpose acquisition company. Special purpose acquisition company. This is what Obama gave us that nobody talks about because they don't really know. They don't really know. Now, basically what a SPAC is, I think I'm saying that right, a SPAC. Basically what a SPAC is it's a shelf corporation. So somebody a long time ago, regardless of whether the market was good or bad, they hired a CPA, they hired a lawyer, they hired an economic MBA to do their Regulation D paperwork. They send it to the securities. They go to a senator's fundraiser, an incumbent senator's fundraiser. They smile, they shake hands, they drop that little envelope in the donation thing, and then they get a phone call. And the guy says, hey, all right, we're going to list you. You want the pink sheets, the blue sheets, or whatever you're on, we're going to list you. Not on NASDAQ yet. NASDAQ is something different, and the New York Stock Exchange is something different. But they tell you that you're listed in the pink sheets or the blue sheets, right? Or over the counter, OTC, right? Which is the beautiful thing about internet trading, because those markets are now open to you. These are what they call when they say penny stocks. But these shits are hard to sell. So you're listed, and then you just sit there. And you sit there until a company that has the potential to become a unicorn, what they call unlimited scalability, like this company I'm about to show you, needs to raise a lot of money quickly. And maybe they have an investor, maybe they're a foreign investor, maybe they're somebody who $1 billion is not much of a risk to them to lose, but they don't have 2 years to wait. So they buy a SPAC company or a special purpose acquisition company. They buy it and they acquire their company into it. They buy it and then they go and they buy their company, and their company becomes that company, and they just change the name. And now you have a listed company. You have a version of an IPO without the actual IPO. It's a lot more risk involved because it's unregulated. But see, I've been watching the next great idea for a very long time. I'm gonna show you guys the next great idea. If you've been hanging out this long, if you know about this company, let me see if they got a YouTube video. If you know about this company, let me know. Let me see if they got a YouTube video. If you know about this company, let me know. Because this company, I brought the stock. It was like $2. I bought a lot of it. I only made like $3 extra over what I paid for it overall on each share. But I got out. I got out because, like I said, you gotta buy a lot of these penny stocks. Ooh, all right, you guys are gonna like this. Okay, so here you go. Let me show you guys this. Before I show you guys this, and this is the sad thing about this shit, man. You guys, you watch these whole ass ninjas all day, subscribing, bullshitting with them. There's only like in our lifetime, there's only like two, maybe two great ideas left. And I found one. It took me a lot of research and a lot of time. And I doubt you guys even know about this. I'll be surprised if when I show you this ticker, you guys, oh man, $13. What? Oh man, I should have stayed with it. See? I should have stayed with it. I should have stayed with it. Go look up this ticker. Have you guys, drum roll please, have you guys ever heard of, oh no, that's not it. That's the wrong ticker. Hold on a minute. That's the wrong ticker. Hold on a minute. That's the wrong ticker. Why did they give me that ticker then? They fucking around. That's the wrong ticker. I swear I clicked on it and they gave me the wrong ticker. Hold on a minute. Oh no, that is the right ticker. Hold on a minute. Let me see something here. That's the wrong ticker. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. That was the right ticker. That was the wrong information. Let me see something. Hold on a minute. Let me see something because they over here fucking around. They got the tickers confused. Nope, that's the wrong ticker. It gives me the NASDAQ. That's interesting. See, you got to be careful with these tickers because that caused a lot of problems. People would buy the wrong ticker, and man, let me tell you, it would cause a lot of problems. That's the wrong ticker. So this is the right ticker. I might just have to share it with you because it can get confusing. Okay, that's the right ticker. Okay, I got the right ticker. Okay, there we go. That's the right ticker. Let me see now. Hold on a minute. Let me get the right ticker together. I got the right ticker. Okay, there we go. Got the right ticker. And let's see. This computer going slow now. Okay. Anyway, this is the company. This is the ticker that you can look up. Now, the company is called, this is the ticker you got to look up. How many SPACs drop beneath their initial market value? Oh, well, you haven't seen the whole thing yet. You haven't, but Danny, you haven't seen what it is. I haven't told you yet. Hold on. You haven't seen what it is. Do you know what it is? It's probably one of the rarest SPACs around because it's not something that people really do unless it's an incredible amount of scale to it. But let me just show you. Let me get to the show. Because you're partially right about that, but we're not gonna be scared off by something semantic as fake money. We're not gonna be scared off. All right, so you guys know about Uber, and you guys know about Lyft. This company is called Archer Aviation. Their vehicle is the Archer Maker. It is an electronic vertical takeoff and landing plane, helicopter, vertical takeoff and landing device, vehicle, right? It is the future of travel. I feel like I'm selling them, but it's okay. I already believe in them, okay? And they have major contracts with Boeing. Boeing has a $500 million order already. And Stellantis is in on them to make the chassis. So they have a lot of major players in on them, okay? This is it right here. This is it. It's got FAA
my
It's got
whole life
FAA
to having enough
approval.
money to like
And
take
you
my
heard
kids
it
on
here.
vacation.
You heard it here first. Okay? Got FAA approval and everything.
Archer Aviation has revealed its new aircraft called Midnight, which it plans to certify for commercial operations in 2024. It's a sleek and curious-looking beast, sporting the same propulsion layout as the Maker. That's 12 rotors, mounted on propulsion pods distributed along its wide wings. The rear 6 are two-bladers, pointing upwards, and they lock into a minimum drag configuration in horizontal flight. The front 6 rock 5 blades, and are capable of fully tilting forward for cruise flight. The cabin seats 4 passengers, plus a pilot. It's designed to be super easy to get in and out of, and each seat has semi-dividers separating it from neighboring seats, with little panels displaying your name and destination. Archer has sacrificed some weight for passenger experience. The windows are huge and panoramic, and designed to give you the best possible view at 2,000 feet where this machine will cruise. Design-wise, it's super sleek and murdered out in black. The front end has a bit of a sperm whale thing going on, thanks to an integrated wheel cover and downward tilted snout. Archer's visual signatures will be a single, striking vertical line down the nose, as well as the large V-tail at the back. It's capable of top speeds up to 150 miles per hour, and can fly as far as 100 miles on a charge, although Archer is very much positioning this machine as a crosstown proposition. It's optimized to handle 2 back-to-back 20-mile trips per 10 minutes on a fast charger, and the company claims it's built to last at least 3,000 flight cycles, after which presumably the battery packs might need to be refreshed.
Okay. That's all you guys get out of me. I'm more concerned with the views. Look at this shit. 1 year, 7,000 views, 17,000 views. 1 year, they got 17,000 views. 1 year, all they got is 17,000 views. Look at this shit. Flying in Dubai. It's in Dubai. It's in Dubai. A flying taxi in Dubai. So the point is, this is not, this is not space, bro. Look at this guy. Look at this guy in here. Danny, somebody sent you. Danny, who in here sent you and said, hey man, there's some black guy on live talking like you know what he's talking about. You should go and confront him. Who in here, who said that to you, Danny? Who in this live sent you? Who sent you, Danny? No, Danny, your speculation, your cynicism is part of the process. But this is happening, baby. This is happening. This is happening. It's already been happening. I was onto this 6 years ago. I'll pull up my E-Trade account and show you where I own the stock. Okay, let me see if I can pull up my E-Trade account. I actually own the stock. I brought the stock in Archer before their spec. All right. So I brought the stock in Archer before their spec. When they did their spec, I was able to make a little bit of money off of it. You know, let me see if I got my E-Trade account on it. I was able to make a little bit of money off of it. But this is not space. And the fact that you're cynical of space only tells me that you might be here on the behest of someone else. That's all that tells me. So I'm not going to really give much weight to avoidance of space, but I appreciate your cynicism. But I'm not about to give up on what is about to be. So you're telling me Elon Musk and them eggheads in the desert are wrong? You're telling me that Elon Musk and them airheads in the desert are wrong? Oh, you're cynical of SPACs? I don't know. I don't know why though. Why would you be cynical of them? It makes no sense. I misunderstood you. I don't know why. They don't tank. They don't tank. They don't have something incredibly scalable. You heard them say commercial flights are going to start this year, 2024. That video was a year old. They already have FAA approval. I mean, I'm not gonna do you guys homework for you for free. That's too much. Y'all asking too much. I'm gonna show you where I owned a position in the company before the SPAC. I sold it because they wasn't moving fast enough for me. So I sold it, and that's it. Okay. I have a research paper for myself where I got this covered from A to Z. I got this covered from A to Z. There is a how you say, there's a group of other publicly traded companies involved, like Boeing and several others. Okay. And I plan to at some point invest heavily in all of them in the entire resource pipeline that provide for making electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. Okay. I know who's making what parts of it. Everything from semiconductors, cables, propeller blades, seats, all the safety stuff, all the software stuff. Every part of it, I have figured out what company they have contracts with, what companies they're going to sell to exclusively, like they're going to sell exclusively to Boeing. Boeing Airlines already has the contracts from United Airlines, and they paid this money up front, $500 million already, order done. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. So this has been a long time coming, my friend. What you don't understand about a SPAC is it is a way to go underneath the paperwork and the gauntlet of regulators that hold good IPOs back. Now, how do you get wealthy? Well, how you get wealthy is, how you get wealthy is you have to purchase an IPO. Okay? You have to purchase an IPO. You have to have access to that. That's what Obama gave us through the Jobs Act. Obama gave us unfettered access to IPOs so that more Americans could participate in the wealth building of this nation. It's simple arithmetic. You buy an IPO, which is very risky. Let's be honest, it's risky. You may lose your investment. For every 2 or 3 successes, there are hundreds of failures. And maybe you don't have the same protection afforded to you. I'm not giving out investment advice, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only speaking from my own investment doctrine and principles and knowledge. But we know working a job ain't going to cut it. We know 401ks, pensions, IRAs are being just destroyed with inflation. And if you can keep from getting laid off long enough, you might just be able to buy your home, which is the second most important thing in the world, is to own your home. That's the main proponent of where homelessness came from. These people didn't choose to be homeless. At one point, somebody took care of them. At one point, somebody cared for them. Okay? They didn't choose their predicament. They lost their home. They lost their home. So while what Danny says, there's a lot of factual basis to it. It's also part of the game. He knows this. That's why I think somebody sent him, because they didn't think I had anything good to offer. I guess they thought I was gonna show you guys a fucking Fez machine or some shit like that. You know, they didn't think I knew the biggest secret of the 22nd century. And because of the Jobs Act and because of the spec, you can get on it. You can get in on it today. No, I don't know what the share price is. You got to go to the website and look it up. Okay, the share price is not going to break the bank, but I'm about to jump back into it because now I see the movement. I was like that too. I was like, maybe this is just a fad. Maybe this is happening. Maybe this isn't happening. But this is my one good idea outside of myself. And I'm excited to, like, I missed the Netflixes and the Amazons and the Googles because I wasn't permissible to get in on the IPOs. 96% of Americans are not permissible to get in on IPOs because of the regulatory requirements. SPACs compensate for that. And like I said, maybe they have a foreign investor who's got $1 billion. I mean, you got to just do your own homework. I'm not about to sit here and do the homework for you guys. But so you guys got to do your own homework. But what the fuck? I'm not about to do your homework for you. So you guys got to go do your own homework and but in any event, I don't know why I can't log into my account. What's going on already? They done got me. Come on, man. I did this already. I just changed the password. I don't have that phone no more. I gotta do all this other shit. Send code. All right, I can't show you. I'm gonna have to come back because I don't have that phone right now. And they won't let me log in. Well, they want me to verify myself, so I can't log into my E-Trade account, but shit, I can show you my E-Trade debit card. I don't know. But I'm gonna show you guys my position. I'll figure out how to share it with you because I can't log in. I was in Thailand. I just let these phone numbers go because I wasn't planning on coming back. So I just let these phone numbers. I really ain't even bothered getting them. Okay, here we go. Oh, fuck. Nope. Okay, so they want me to send in them. So they want me to use another phone. Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll work with my Thai phone. Let me see. Maybe my Thai phone might work. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. But in any event, IPOs is one of the ways you create wealth today. Okay. And everyone else. So how this works is you're going to have some people who don't want to work hard. You're going to have some people who want to take the easy road. I'm trying to show you what stocks I own. I mean, telling you is not the point. I'm trying to show you. So I'm trying to log into my E-Trade account. I'm trying to log into my E-Trade account, but it won't. I'm trying to log into my E-Trade account, but it won't let me. It's giving me a hard time because I have my American numbers. I let them go. I only have my Thailand numbers because I wasn't planning on coming back, and I didn't even bother turning my American numbers on or getting new American numbers because I'm not going to be here that long. So it's pointless to have American numbers. So if I can log in I'll be able to show you. Because telling you, you're not going to believe what I'm saying. I don't like to answer those type of questions because people don't believe you. Then it changes the whole argument. The argument becomes more of an exercise in proving me wrong than it is in me telling you the truth. I mean, you don't know me, so I'm trying to show you. That's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you that I own the stock, that I own stock in Archer Aviation before I sold it. I wanted to show you my balance sheet. That's what I wanted to show you. But if I can't do it today, I will show you in the time. You know, let me see if it works. So anyway, that's how you get wealthy. You get wealthy by getting into these IPOs. And that's what Obama gave us the opportunity to do. He gave us the opportunity to participate because originally I got to call customer service then. Okay, because now the number, I'm using the Thai number, it doesn't match the number that they have, which I don't have that number no more. So I got to call customer service. But I'll show you guys. No, it's cool. I mean, I own right now I own a little bit of Apple. I own a little bit of Netflix. Hold on, I'll tell you what I own right here. It's in my phone because I can't even remember. I got so many fucking here we go. So in my iPhone, these are my stocks right here. These are my stocks right here, my iPhone. I got Apple, I got Starbucks, I got T-Mobile, I got United Airlines, because I told you it's United Airlines. It's actually so with Archer Aviation, Boeing made the investment of $500 million. They made an order for $500 million of aircraft. And they have sold those aircraft to United Airlines. So they're already sold. So I got stock in United Airlines. I got stock in Stellantis because Stellantis makes the chassis and the engines for Archer Aviation aircraft. All right. I got Solar Edge Technologies. That's something different. I got General Motors. General Motors is in a little bit of this, in this deal a little bit. I got some Walmart. I got DoorDash. I got Uber. I got Airbnb. I got Bumble. I got to sell Bumble because I heard some shit about women are gotten so bad with dating. They're not even on the site picking men. They're not even on the site at all. I got a technology select sector spec. I got Square or Block. I got Coca-Cola. I got the Gap. I got Lyft. I got Mesa Air Group, which is another version, which is what Mesa Air Group is what Archer Aviation and the spec Atlas Crest is today. They're Mesa. So that's Mesa. So their stock is 87 cents, which is pretty good to buy up. I got Petco. I got Microsoft. I got Nike. I got what is that for? I don't know what that one is anymore. I just bought that for some reason. I don't know. I got Shopify. I got Salesforce. I got Rent the Runway. I got Advanced Micro Devices. I got Offgo, which is Broadcom. I got QCOM. I got NVIDIA. I got all the semiconductors. I got Intel. I got Raven Automotive. That's like the electric version of the Tesla trucks. I got Compass, and I got Vimo. So I got stuff that I use, stuff that I'm working on. The only stuff that I'm really working on here is the stuff that is with HR Aviation. Most of the stuff is the stuff that I use, like Nike and Starbucks, and some stuff that I read about, like Petco, but I didn't buy enough of it to make any money. But like the guys that did the thing with the GameStop, they're doing that with Petco. But I didn't buy enough of it to really make any money, and I didn't talk about it, but I didn't understand it at the time, actually. Now with the dumb money, I understand it. But once I log in, I'm about to sell some of this stuff. Shopify, I like Shopify. Shopify is a great position to get. They're about to be around the globe with e-commerce. What's left of Web 2, they're going to squeeze the last little bit of it. I got all the semiconductors because the semiconductors are used in the Quest. The semiconductors used in Quest, Oculus, I got all of those because they're different ones, but each one of them at some point is going to be used. Right now, they just use Qualcomm, but I got NVIDIA, I got Intel, I got all the ones. I'm really excited about the electric pickup truck that's going to rival Tesla. I'm really excited about that. Salesforce just got AI. I might keep that because Salesforce is going AI. So what Salesforce used to do with people, they're selling that, but not for people. They're selling an AI version of that. So you can be a one-man company and have a total AI Salesforce. It's pretty brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. And that's pretty much it. I got Uber, Airbnb. Those are probably like my best ones. I use Airbnb a lot. I got Walmart. The reason why I got Walmart is because if Walmart ever develops their marketplace, they would kill Amazon. Amazon's marketplace design is so atrocious and cringeworthy. It's unbelievable, and they won't change it. But Walmart's looks like suspect as fuck. It looks sussy as fuck. It looks like they're gonna rip you off and steal your credit card information. Like, it doesn't look like a real site. You look at it and like, I'm not buying anything from here. I don't even want to put my credit card information in here. So, but if they ever fix that, analysts believe they will have the largest marketplace that'll dwarf Amazon. Why? Because there's like on Oahu, where I'm at, there's a Walmart Supercenter 5-10 minutes from me. So one day I needed this toothbrush, an electric toothbrush attachment, and I ordered it. And I ordered it from the Walmart up the street. And I said, just ship it to me. It was supposed to be like 3 or 4 days. And I walk out my door the next day, or I walk out my door later on that day, and it was at my door. They literally used like DoorDash to send it to me the same day. The fact that they can fulfill items literally within 24 hours is a killer to Amazon. Amazon has the shipping hub and the vans, and they do a lot of volume, but they can't beat Walmart on the speed component because there's Walmarts every fucking where. Walmart already has the core employees. Walmart just doesn't push like they do their shopping thing. When I lived in Atlanta, I used to do the shopping with Walmart all the time, but they don't have they don't pull enough product from their shelves, So that's the problem with them. But analysts believe that if they ever get it together, if they ever get a good CTO, or they ever get ambitious enough, they would kill Amazon in the fulfillment part, which would change the dynamics of Amazon controlling all of that. Whatchamacallit. Yeah, so Asia is actually called Mesa. And the stock price is Mesa Air Group, and the stock price is 88%. Hold on. Is that right? Is Mesa and Archer the same thing? I don't think Mesa and Archer is the same thing. I might be wrong about that. I think Mesa Air Group is the competitors to Archer. And they actually okay. No, totally different company. I gotta figure out why I picked them up. There was some reason I picked them up. They're a commercial airline. It's a reason why I picked them up. So the Floyd Wallace route, I'm putting all my stock in Incel. You putting all your stock in Incels. I guess, man, them dudes commit a lot of suicide. I don't know. You know what's funny? There's actually a scam. There's a movie I was watching what was the movie? Oh fuck. There's a movie I was watching, can't think of the movie, where the scam was they would shit, what is the movie? They would get insurance on indigenous people, like homeless people. They set up an insurance company. They would go out there and get insurance on homeless people through their company. And they did it through Lloyd's of London and some shit. And then after like a couple of months, they paid a policy and all that. But they make sure that they had a doctor clear them for health. And they had the thing through Lloyd's of London, and then they had their little insurance company. So they got to put some money in. Anyway, after the policy vested, then they would knock off these homeless people and clear like $1 million or $500,000. I can't think of the movie. It's not funny, but it's fucked up. So when you talk about investing in incels, I would say get them some life insurance, man, because incels going to commit suicide. It's a joke. I joke. I kid. But you know, incels are unstable. What do you think of Baba? Baba? I don't know. I gotta look it up. I'll look it up and let you know. I'm not about to look at tickers all day. Amazon's main money maker. Yeah, AWS cloud. Yeah, that's their thing right now. I remember when cloud went down, and that's when we realized who the companies were that really were using Amazon that were supposed to be competitors in some things. So cloud went down, AWS went down, and Salesforce had an outage, and other companies that had outages. And then everybody realized a lot of those companies that had outages relied on that network, that platform. And so that's how we were like, wait a minute, but Amazon in this part of the business, Amazon is your competitor. So Amazon has a division that does what Salesforce does too. But you know, investors have been waiting for decades for Walmart to catch up. I don't think that they will ever. Will. Amazon invents or owns a lot of technology that makes them great, where Walmart just contracts it out. Yeah, I don't know. That's what the analysts say, you know. Yes, this happened in Arizona. It led to medical fraud. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Exactly. I'm trying to think of the movie though. They had it in this movie that I watched. I'm trying to think of the movie. It's that black lady in it. That black lady who's from Trinidad. I can't think of her name. Oh, let me see if I can find the movie. Hold on. The movie was fucking good though. The movie is a good movie, but what's the movie? The movie about killing homeless people for the insurance. What the fuck was the movie? Oh, let me see if it comes out. I don't know what the movie was, man. I gotta ask my mom, because we were watching that movie and we were like, what the fuck? My mother was like, yeah, they've been doing that for years. And so they make it look like the homeless person died of something health wise, like they had all their shit sewn up, like they had the fucking coroner in the pocket, like, and it was somebody who was investigating this. What's her name? There was a lady who was a Department of Homeland. She was a postal inspector. Oh man, what's the movie? The movie had come back to me. And she was investigating all of this. Postal inspector investigating homeless deaths movie. No, I don't know. I gotta ask my mom what the movie was. She would remember. I can't remember what the movie was, but it was a crazy movie. If I can remember the actress, it's that actress who plays in what movie she played in? No, not her. No, not her. Not Tiffany Haddish. She's an older Caribbean actress. She smiles funny. She always plays like the old barren black mother. Not Cicely Tyson, the other one. Let me see if I can find her. I'm gonna tell you guys the movie. Black female actresses over 40 Caribbean. She's Caribbean, She's from the Caribbean. All right, so the movie you guys got to watch that'll pull this all together for you is The Social Network. Okay, because you look at The Social Network and you think it's just a story about Facebook, aka Meta, but it's not. The story is about him ripping off his friend. That really happened. He really ripped off his friend. So you understand there's a scene, there's 4 pivotal scenes in the movie. There's the first scene where he says, I'm starting a company. You're gonna get this much. Edward, you get 25%, and you get this percent. The other guy, he's giving out the equity in the room. That's what you call founders equity. Okay. Then he meets Sean Parker. He gives Sean Parker of investors equity, and Sean Parker hooks him up with Peter Fife in them, and Peter Fife in them buy, I forgot what it's called, but they buy another version of equity. And so at that point, everybody's making money. Everybody's equity is worth something now. It went from just like I could say, hey, you got this much, you got this much, you got this much. It's nothing until I get some money for it, till someone buys more equity. Then I pass it on to you. But then they got more investors, and then the dilution comes in, right? But what they did was they made sure in their bylaws not to dilute him or Sean Parker's equity. They diluted Edward Sandoval's equity, thus defrauding him because he made all the initial investments. The initial money he made, the initial money put in came from his best friend. That's it. And so when he diluted him out, it was like fraud, basically. He diluted him down to nothing. But it wasn't about the money. It was like he wanted to dilute down his control in the company. So it wasn't about his equity. It wasn't about his equity as far as making money. It was about his ability to vote and his equity in the company. And he was mad because he shut down the accounts and kind of like almost killed Facebook, with his jealousy. Okay, there she goes. Is that her? I don't know if that's her. This might be her. Let me see. They looking sexy too. I gotta these black women over here looking sexy. I gotta figure out who she is. She older though. She played in a lot of movies. I think I might have found her. But let me see. No, that's not her. Is that her? That might be her. Let me see. Let me see her filmography. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I don't know. Let me see here. I don't know. Let me see here. Ah man. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was the Equalizer? No, it wasn't the Equalizer. No, that's not her. That's gotta be her though. If I can find her, I'll tell you guys who she is. It was a good movie though. That looked like her. I don't know, man. I still think I'm changing realities, man. So I don't even know if I remember it correctly. I'm trying to think who was in the movie. Oh, you know what? Okay. I know who was in the movie. It was what's that chick from Do the Right Thing? Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez was in the movie. That's who was in the movie. I think it was Rosie Perez, or it was the other girl. Was it Rosie Perez? Was it Rosie Perez? Fuck. Anyway, I'll have to figure this out later. I have to look for this movie now. Now you guys got me looking for this movie, and I don't know what it is. If it was even a movie or a TV show. No, it wasn't Rosie Perez. It was the other chick. The chick. Oh no. Okay. I know who it was. It was Americana. It was Americana actress. She's an actress, the Spanish actress. Yeah, Americana Fiera. That's who it was. Okay. It's a movie with Americana Fiera in it. Damn, you guys, these guys dip quick. These guys dip quick. Damn, she got old. Everybody gets old, man. Everybody gets old. Real women have curves. Sisterhood, Lords of Dogtown, still see. Television, CSI. Okay, I don't know. I gotta ask my mother; she would know. But it was a funny ass movie, though. It was a funny movie. What IT job do I have? Well, right now I don't do IT. I used to be a UX designer, and then I was a UX design career coach, helping people get jobs as a UX designer. And right now I volunteer as a CTO for a nonprofit. So I volunteer as a CTO, but I don't have an actual job. I started a company in tech. So I have a tech company. And so that's what I do right now. That's my IT job. My IT job is a founder. I don't have an actual job in IT anymore. I'm a founder. I got out of that racket. It's too much, not enough money in it for me. I like being a CTO, so I'm trying to find a CTO position at a startup. But otherwise, I'm not interested in being a lackey anymore. You got to do too much stuff. So I founded my own company. That's the Winner Circle, and we do made to measure. We do made to measure polos, and we use technology for that. So if you scan a QR code, everything will be revealed. Scan a QR code, everything will be revealed. So that's what I'm doing right now. I only remember because I wrote a report about it on my news report. I don't remember. No, it was a movie where I don't even know if you're still in here, but it's a movie where she's anyway, let me finish this thought, and we're gonna try to find this movie. So that's how you get wealthy in 2024 as a Black person. You got to get into these IPOs. You got to spread around. You got to diversify, and you got to ride them for the long haul. Okay? You got to ride them for the long haul. You got to do your research. The companies I read off to you, I've all researched them thoroughly. I won't tell you why I'm in there. I can't remember most of the reasons why I'm in there. I know if they have to do with Archer Aviation, I'm in there because of Archer Aviation, because they in some way, shape, or form support the creation of that vehicle. And that's where the revenue comes from, which increases their stock price. And I'm also in Archer Aviation. But Archer Aviation is a long way from being a viable company where the stock price increased. But that's not how this works. If I buy Archer Aviation stock, what up, Tony? If I buy Archer Aviation stock right now, let me see. Because I'm going to buy it. I'm going to get back in there. ACIC. Atlas Crest Investment Corp. So I got to buy into Atlas Crest Investment Corp, which I don't even know what the stock is. But before, they used to be called, let me add it anyway. Before they used to be called, Archer Archer Aviation. So at last, Archer Aviation is trading at $3.70. $3.70. Okay. Okay, so they're still around. Yeah. So Archer Aviation is still around. That's cool. Archer Aviation is still around. Here goes the ticker. Here goes the ticker. Yeah, I know Reddit. I don't like that guy though. That guy's a racist. I don't like that guy. This is the ticker for Archer Aviation. This is the ticker. Ticker for Archer. So you guys want a great idea? I'm doing what he's doing in Dumb Money. You guys want a great idea? You guys want to make some money? You guys want to own a company? So here goes the fun part about stocks. Here goes the fun part about stocks that nobody tells you. You get voting rights. What does that mean? That means you get the right to vote. Annually, they have so you got to have the stock for, depending on the bylaws, could be a few hours to a year. But every year they have a meeting. You can go in person. You get to stay in a hotel. Well, not these companies because they're not really wealthy. But if you were with Apple or Amazon and you've been with them for a long time holding the stock, they give you hotel rooms and all kinds of cool shit. Because the current officers want you to vote for them. The current board members want you to vote for them. So you go in there and you vote. And you can vote people in, you can vote people out. It's based off of your percentage of ownership. And if you connect with enough people, you can put at least one board member or you can put one executive in that can be your power. That could be your control. That's the most beautiful part about buying equity in companies. So even when I sell, well, no, not yet, but when you sell regulated securities, normally you give voting rights. That's how Steve Jobs lost his job 2 or 3 times. He started the company, they fired him, they hired him, they fired him. Then finally he got people to back him, and he brought enough control and leveraged the rest that he was able to solidify his job forever. Okay. And nothing I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I'm gonna get out of here because this is what it is. This is what it is that you got to understand. This is what, when I tell you about wealthy people, this is what it looks like. See, you guys probably never seen wealthy people before, but this is what it looks like. Okay. It don't look like this no more because these people, this is the 80s and the 90s. It's somewhat changed, but this is what it used to look like. Okay. So they got that nasty ass Forex trading up there. So yeah, Archer Aviation, that's it. So what you guys just saw was what they call, that's the annual shareholder meeting. Usually it happens once a year. Sometimes, depending on the bylaws, it could be emergency meetings. It could be, so back in the old days, they had the hostile takeover. You would go to a company, you would make an arrangement to buy a controlling interest, which is 50% or more, depending on how that worked, how it was structured. And sometimes the company would be like, no, we're not doing it. So you do a hostile takeover. You would just start buying up the shares and that would ride the price up, which make it pretty expensive. And then you would just own a controlling interest, exercise the bylaws, call an emergency meeting, and fire or vote them people out, and or fire or vote them people out. And now you control the company and you put your people in, but it's still depending on the industry, it's still regulations involved. A lot of industries are regulated. So you can't do that with every sector, you know what I'm saying? But that's what that is. So when you buy equity in a company, you get the power to do that. Now, why he gets to speak is a lot of reasons. They're not going to let everybody speak, obviously, but I just wanted to show you, like, you see some really old people. You see the old lady with her hat and her newspaper. She been stuffing her mattress. She believes in that company, Taldar paper. who knows what they do. Maybe they cut down fucking trees and they make paper from trees or some shit like that, which probably was pretty big because the newspaper business, you know. But what he used to do was strip the companies of their leadership and then sell off the assets of the companies at a wholesale. So it's like he's selling off the machines and anything of value, he's selling it to people that want to acquire it at a preferred price. And then he's playing another game with the options and shit like that. So that's Gecko. He was making killing. It's actually based on a real life personality. Look it up. Gecko's based on a real life trader who went to prison for that, for insider trading. Remember, the only crime is insider trading. Everything else is fair play. That's like if you tell me something and I make a move and make money off of it, then I'm going to jail because I wasn't supposed to take advantage of that, you know. So anyway, that's the fun part about owning stock. Yeah, I'm about to buy Asia Aviation, Lux Travel. I'm about to buy that. I'm about to buy it back because just coming in, but I showed the video where they doing test flights now. So it's time for me to get back into that. I'm about to buy every dollar I get. Every dollar I get, I'm about to buy 500 shares because it's like $3 a share. So 500 shares is like 1,500. That's not a lot. I'm about to allocate buying $1,500 of shares, $500 in shares. That gives me 1,850 shares. So by 500 shares, it's like 1,850. That's not a lot. And I do that for 12 months. That's not that bad. That's a good little amount of money. No. I don't do options. Ooh, no. That's why I didn't become a broker. I failed options. I'm awful at it. I failed options. I'm awful at options. I don't mess with options. Yeah, options is a different animal altogether. But if you know what you're doing, yeah, it could work. But I don't like to play that game. I don't like to play that game. You got to have a lot of money. You got to have a lot of money to play options. You know? You got to have a lot of money to play options. Options is not an easy game to play. You got to have a lot of money. Damn, I'm trying to find that movie, but I can't find that movie. They already got FAA approval. You got to read the article. They already got FAA approval. Yeah, man, they good to go. They already got FAA. See, this is what happens with insider trading. But the good news is, this is what happens with insider trading. You would know this already. That's somebody in a company telling me, oh, we got FAA approval. Stellantis going bankrupt. No, they can't be going bankrupt. Ah, don't tell me that, man. You guys are up on the business. Thanks for the tip. Don't tell me that because Stellantis had the contract close to FA. Come on, man. You guys are just killjoys. Come on. Stop being a killjoy, Lux. FAA approval to build is a huge step. If you know the Federal Aviation Administration, it's a huge step. If you knew what we were flying around in every day, you talk about Lux Travel, I'm Travel Wolf. Do you understand what we're flying around in every day? Did you understand? You know that recent mishap where the fucking side of the plane flew off, right? You know why that was? That was because they were too cheap to add. They were too cheap to remove an extra row of seats. So where they would normally have that be an emergency exit, they wanted to add another row of seats, and that was against the regulations for an emergency exit. So they tried to turn an emergency exit window into the fuselage of the plane, which requires it not to be locked down the same way. So, FAA approval to build is a big step. It's like, Tesla started that way. Now look at Tesla stock. Tesla started that way. That's the department of, that's DOT, that's the highways, right? Now you got Waymo. Waymo just got approved for driving the driverless cars, but they dealing with a lot of industrial sabotage. There's a lot of industrial sabotage going on. I should talk about that in another video, because people are talking about getting motion sickness in Teslas. They really trying to say it's radiation sickness. Waymo, one of the cars was driving in the oncoming traffic lane. There's a lot of industrial sabotage. There's a lot of people. See, you guys got to think about the future. You guys got to think about the future. Now, Ozempic, I don't mess with farmers. Yeah, I don't mess with farmers. Eli and Lilly and the other company. Yeah, I don't mess with farmers. I don't mess with farmers. Farmers are bad. I don't mess with farmers. But you guys got to think about this like this, right? It's an electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. No fuel, no fossil fuels. It's an electronic vehicle. It's endless propulsion. You know what that means? The airlines are done. No more fossil fuels. Teslas, no more fossil fuels. Now we got driverless cars. You know what that means? No more being pulled over as a black motorist and murdered by the police. There's a lot of things people are interested in not changing that are going to change in our lifetime for the better. They want to keep autonomous vehicles off the road so they can keep murdering us. Because once you take away the autonomous vehicle, once you take away the requirement of drivers, and you have an autonomous vehicle, guess what that means? I can't be held accountable for it making turns and not blinking and all that shit that they put to a motorist. I can't be responsible for that. It's a robotic car. They can't even pull it over. When traffic stops end, we live. Black men can live. When traffic stops end, we can live. So you got to understand, yeah, people have a lot of invested interest in not seeing progress, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen, They're going to get the operations, but that's what I mean about insider trading. Insider trading is basically somebody would tell me they already got the regulatory approval. I'm looking it up right now because I thought I read that they had the regulatory approval already. They did the first test flight already, so they needed approval for that. So, anyway, let me see. I got to research that more, but I thought they had FAA approval already. I thought I read that somewhere. But this is the idea, man. You heard it from me first. I'm about to get back into it. So, let's see. It's not authorized to perform aircraft repair services. A key requirement, the certification. Yeah, you gotta check your Part 145 certification from the FAA. This is so much. It's so much to research, man. I gotta hire someone to do this. Okay, so yeah, so they got through the next step. They just got their Part 145 certification, which is essential for commercial aviation operators and original equipment manufacturers. So they're on their way, man. It's gonna happen. I'm just in Minority Report. That's funny, right? But okay, I'm gonna come on there. Or you gonna cook beautiful lies? I'll be right over, Tony. I'm gonna get my snacks. That's what's up. I'll be right over, Tony. Everybody go check over Tony's channel. Come on, Lux. I don't know what's wrong with you, Lux. You're a killjoy. Stop being a killjoy. You gotta admit this is a great. You gotta admit this is a great investment idea. You gotta admit that. You gotta admit that this is the one that can make you fucking wealthy. You gotta admit that, Lux. This can make you wealthy. The key word being can. C-A-N. It can make you wealthy if you're smart. You gotta admit that, Lux Travel. You gotta admit that. Come on, give me that one. I put a lot of I've been researching and studying this company for like 4 years, man. Like 4 or 5 years. I gotta show you my portfolio. I had a position in this company, but I sold it. You know, now I'm lucky enough to get a second chance to get back in. Yes, it's about taking risk. It's about taking risk, not chances, Brother Rick, but risk. Everybody, make sure you go to Traveling Tony's channel. He about to cook somebody. He about to cook Beautiful Lives. I gotta go find out what that's about. I'm gonna head on over there. And watch. Make sure you all go to Traveling Tony. Traveling Tony making moves. He making moves, y'all. Y'all don't even know. He making real moves. He the only one of us in the world that got a real place to live. Like he can have his own country if he wanted to. He got a place to live. He got a place to call home. He brought some land out right underneath his feet. He owned everything. Tony, how far down do you own the land? How far down can you dig? What are your whatchamacallit rights? How far down in the earth do you own the land? How far down do you own the land? He can make a whole man. The potential for what Traveling Tony is doing is epic, man. It's epic. He can have a whole little country nobody won't even know about. He's buying land in another country. I've seen cats start businesses. I haven't seen nobody buy land. People be leasing land, but buying land is different. This brother found a country where he could own the land, and he brought land. I'm sure other people are doing it too, but I just like to big him up because he actually filmed the whole process. It's a great video, by the way. You guys should go and watch it. It's not chances, it's risk. Investments all carry a substantial amount of risk, but without any risk, you get no rewards. I'm a risk taker, so worked out for me. Worked out for me. I'm not a killjoy. I work in the unmanned offices as a FAA contractor. I know they don't have approval to operate. Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. That's what I'm saying. You acting like what they're doing is nothing different than the helicopter. Listen, at one point they wanted this to be an autonomous vehicle, but they changed that and added a pilot because that would speed the process along. But at one point they wanted you to use your phone and you order one and it lands and you get in it and it takes off. They wanted it to be pilotless. They actually still have that version. But in order to speed this process along, they decided to put a pilot in there. It's no different than commercial helicopters. No difference. The only thing is that unlike Sikorsky Airline or Lockheed, right? Unlike those companies, you're not going to make no money investing with them. You can make yourself wealthy investing with Archer. Let me stop saying that. You're going to get me in trouble. But I can make money investing in Archer. I'm not going to make any money invested in Sikorsky or Lockheed. I can make money investing in Archer. The stock is at a buy for me. I will buy a lot of this stock and ride it up. It can't go any lower. But once they get the approval to operate, shit, and that's coming. There's no reason why that's not coming. I've seen this same thing play out with Tesla. Once he got the DOT and the other thing to get on the highways, they were off to the races. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Well, I'm not really worried about that. I'm not worried about that, Danny. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not worried about that. This is my best idea of my lifetime. I missed a lot of them. I played the safe before. I should have already been a multimillionaire off of Netflix and Amazon and Google, but I played the safe before. I let the bubble influence my choices, and I swore to myself, never again. I waited, what the bubble was, 2007. I waited 17 years for the next opportunity to come to me. And this is it. This is my opportunity. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to put everything I got into it. I'm going to put everything I got into it. And, that's how these companies succeed. These companies don't fail because of the marketability. They fail because of lack of capital. So my little money I put in there, and if other people do it, it gives them capital to continue to operate, to continue to grow and develop. It's a marketable company. They're doing flights. I forgot what the route was, but they're doing flights from LAX to Vegas in like 30 minutes. Something like that. 30 minutes. 30 minutes from LAX to Vegas and back. Imagine flying from New York to Miami in this thing. Probably shorter than that. I don't know. But that's where this is going. You can literally hop in this thing in Miami and be in DC or be in New York City in no time. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know really what else to tell you guys, I'm going in on this. So I'm bull on this company. That's why I shared it with you guys. Because a lot of people are going to come on here and a lot of people are going to talk to you like they got something going on, but they don't have anything going on. As long as you guys have been watching me, what have you noticed? I have a lot of shit going on. If you've been watching me for a while, you should notice 3 things about me. You should notice 3 things about me. I'm going to let you tell me what they are. If you've been watching me, watching my channel for a while, you should notice 3 things about me. I'm going to let you tell me what they are. One of them I already told you. I got a lot going on. When I come to the table, I come with a whole fucking 8 courses. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not out here talking about doing some shit. I'm going back into this company now. I really wasn't planning on it, but somebody said, hey, only the strong said this would be a good topic for discussion. This would be something to share with you guys. So I shared with you guys the secret. I'm not even talking about doing anything with me. I could understand the criticism if I was like, hey, why don't you guys fuck buying the polos, man? Let me sell you some equity. I'm not even talking about doing something with me. I'm talking about doing something that's for yourself, doing something that's already got motion. I would be I can think of the word, but I would be unethical to tell you to do something that's just starting when I know there's something that's got motion. I'm telling you something that has motion. It looks gimmicky to me. What is the USPO? I don't understand that acronym. Is that a typo? What is the USPO? Explain what you mean, Danny. It looks gimmicky to me. Explain what you mean, Danny. You're a bit uneducated about their missions. They are aimed at doing short hops on their midnight aircraft. It's propeller technology, so it's not going to move as fast as a jet. I'm not uneducated on their mission. You just are looking at they had you probably just reading this off of Google. That's where you're going from. They have another version of the craft called the Maker. Notice how I can talk to you about it. I'm not typing. Here go my hands. They have another version of the aircraft called the Maker. Look up the Maker. They probably have traded off some services. It's not a big deal. They have a version of the aircraft called the Archer Maker. The Midnight is just for whatever purposes. I don't know what the purposes are, but they have another version for the longer flights. See, you're not thinking about this as a universal selling point. Give me 1 second. You mean for the winner circle, or you mean for Archer Aviation, Danny? The universal selling point for the winner circle or Archer Aviation? Listen, Lux. Listen. It doesn't matter to me if you don't like it. It's gonna make me rich. It's gonna make me wealthy. You're gonna be sitting there like, oh my God, I should have got into this when he told me. I'm gonna be good. I'm not worried about if you don't like it or not. So it makes no difference to me what you really think. I'm gonna do this for me. I'm not doing this to impress anybody. I'm gonna get wealthy. I'm gonna be there when they ring the bell. I'm gonna be there for all. You're gonna see the one black dude and all with the different color glasses. I probably have some Tom Fords. I have some Tom Ford money. I'm gonna have to go be like, that's Travel Wolf. I knew it. I knew it. That's what she gonna say. I knew this was a good idea. It'd be too late for you. Listen, companies make corporate decisions that change their mission all the time. I don't know why they invented another craft. I know about the Maker. Okay. I know about the Maker. The Midnight is something that I just learned about today, and I haven't really looked at it. But I do know that low key they're having conversations with Uber. I do know that at some point in the future there will be a version of this craft on the Uber app, and that's what I do know. So take that for what it's worth. Short hops, long hops, it doesn't matter. When you go to an airline, think about the walking you do. Think about how an airline works. If you gotta wait for everybody to get off the plane before you can get off. It's so awkward. It's so elementary. It's like, I don't want to do that shit. Even if I gotta fly in this the same way, the same amount of hours between Miami and New York, when it lands, I'm out. I'm off the thing. I don't have any luggage. I don't deal with luggage. I make clothes. So I call and my clothes arrive anywhere in the world. I could do that for you guys too, but definitely for me. So I don't have any luggage. I don't travel with any luggage unless I bring these books with me. I don't really even need to do that, but I do. But so to me, your argument is just a straw man argument. That's what your argument is to me, you know? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good that that's your career. That's good. Oh, Archer, unique selling proposition. No traffic. No traffic jams. So mainly they're going to be in markets that have stupid, crazy traffic jams. I know they would do really good in Hawaii, because in Hawaii we don't have power lines and we don't have a lot of overhang. So they could literally be a helipad on this property, or there could be because I'm by a golf course, so it ain't no big deal. Like the country club, I live in a gated community, and it has a country club and a big ass golf course. A big ass golf course. I think I showed you. So they can put some space aside to land, and I could go to Honolulu in like 12, 15 minutes. The traffic here is that bad. So they're primarily going to be in markets where it's a lot of congestion, it's a lot of traffic. So for example, going from Miami to Staten Island, going from Manhattan to Staten Island, going from Manhattan to the Hamptons, Buffalo, all these places where getting there, traffic is just bad, LA traffic is awful. That's the proposition. Alleviating your movement in congestive urban centers. Miami traffic is bad. They're just now. Did they just now start the train? Or I think someone told me they're about to finish the train from Miami to Orlando. They got a bullet train from Miami to Orlando because the Miami Turnpike is just, the traffic is just that bad, and it's really expensive to be on the Miami Turnpike. It's like maybe $70 now. So Not yet, but that's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know if not yet, but that's a possibility. Okay, not yet, but that's a possibility. A vertical takeoff and landing aircraft that's electric with New York to Miami range is a possibility. It's a possibility. See, you're being a killjoy. You're trying to pick away at these. Listen, I'm gonna put my money into it. That's all that matters. So I get what you're saying, but I'm gonna put my money into it. That's all that matters. You're not gonna talk me out of it. Yeah, y'all not gonna have me. Listen, I'm not gonna be sitting here fucking looking at this ticker and this shit's worth $5,000. And I'm gonna be like, damn, I was talking to them that day. The stock was $3.70. And I let some anonymous dude talk me out of it. And now the stock is 5,000. I could have at least got me 6,000 shares. And the stock is $5,000 now. I'm not gonna let you talk me out of it. I'm just hypothesizing how far the stock can go. But let's just say I buy my 500 shares a month for 12 months. That's 6,000 shares, right? At the price of $3.70, the average is going to cost me. The average is probably going to cost me $19,000 to $22,200, right? But I got 6,000 shares. The stock price may hit $1,000 at least. That's $6 million in my old age. That's setting up an old man for the rest of his life. Okay, that's setting up an old man for the rest. That's right in line with where I need to be in the next 8 to 12 years. So I got 8 to 12 years to wait, and I might just keep going. I might not stop at 6,000 shares. I might make it 12,000 shares. Every quadrution of, no, not quadrution, but every doubling of the shares doubles my net worth. Okay, so 6 million, 12 million. The reason why I have quarter caps on how many shares I get per year is because I want to buy up to a particular price. I have a particular price. At this price, I could buy continuously until it reaches maybe $55, $60, you know. But I have a formula that I only buy when it, but that's 8, 12 years from now. You know, I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to get my 6,000 shares right now. I might get another 6,000 later. I might get 612. I might get 18,000 shares before the price changes drastically. That's only 3 years away. That's like 2007. If they start operating about 2007, that's 3 years from now. And then 5 years after that, let's see, 2007, 2027, and then 5 years from that, that's 2032. So that's 2032 minus 2024. That's 8 years from now. It's perfect timing. It's perfect timing, but that's good. You don't put your money into it. I'm gonna put my money into it. I'm gonna put my money into it. You don't put your money into it. I'm gonna put my money into it. Oh, the bright line. Okay, the bright line is operating. All right, I'm gonna go down there and ride that mug. Orlando to Miami. That's an insane way to travel. You got 2 major party centers at your disposal now. I'm gonna go stay in Orlando for a little while and then take the train to Miami, and then I'm gonna go to Colombia. That's what I'm gonna do. Fear of missing out, investor. Exactly, Danny. I learned the hard way. Danny, do you understand what it's like for me? I could have had Alphabet. I definitely could have had Amazon, and I should have saw Netflix. And the reason why I should have saw Amazon, and the reason why I should have saw Netflix was because I hadn't started to study patents yet, right? But there were patents already happening. What were the patents? Well, with Amazon, they were the first one. The patent was they eviscerated Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles is no longer around. In the trailer that I showed you guys, that scene, that guy that he's talking to, that's whatchamacallit, that owns Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles could have had this. They walked away. They thought that shit that they're doing was going to last forever. Barnes and Nobles doesn't exist anymore. Okay? That was, and then Netflix came after. And I should have been paying attention when Blockbuster started closing stores, started giving away movies. You went from 1 movie to 3 movies for the same price, started waiving late fees altogether, trying to compete with Netflix. Blockbuster was our backup plan. Me and my fiance would order our movies. We would have our movies come. And then if they didn't come because the mail, whatever reason, then we would go to Blockbuster and get something else. Blockbuster was our backup plan. It wasn't our go-to plan. I used to pay hundreds of dollars in late fees, like $300-$400 in late fees. Okay? Because we used to get so many movies, and then you miss a day or two, you're late. Right? But what happened? Netflix destroyed Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. People don't even talk about Hollywood Video, but Netflix destroyed Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, and people forget that at one time Hollywood Video absorbed Blockbuster to try to stay alive, and then Blockbuster even tried to do their online version of Netflix. And you would think that people would like that because you would put the order in, and then you would walk into the Blockbuster, and the movies were there for you to pick up. But what Blockbuster didn't think about was doing something like Kazoom, where they were doing Kazoom in New York City. That's where they had the bike messenger come, and he would pick up the movies that you ordered online and bring them to you. So Blockbuster could have saved themselves, because it's all about, at the end of the day, it's about rapid motion, rapidity of motion, getting the product to the customer as fast as possible. That's why Best Buy is able to still hang around, even though they call it Amazon showroom. So what does that mean? People go into the Best Buy to see the product. Then they go home and order it on Amazon. And for the really impatient ones, if they can get a price match or a good deal in the store, then they buy it in Best Buy. But they know they can't, so they say, okay, I'm going to go home and order it on Amazon. And Amazon, what did Amazon do? Amazon stepped their game up and said, we can't rely on USPS, UPS, and FedEx. We got to have our own fleet. And now Amazon got its own fleet. And now they have lockers and all kinds of, and I actually almost started a micromobility business. What does a micromobility business mean? That means that in this house, I take my office upstairs, because upstairs I have a foyer that's like an open den. I take that. I buy products that Amazon says are going to sell well in this area, because they have the data. I keep them upstairs. And when Amazon sells them, they tell me, and I deliver it to this community. That's micromobility. Everybody got to get their stuff instant. Fast. Okay? So, what's up, Phila Killer? I'm doing good. Yeah, I am a female investor, man. I fear missing out. When you say Barnes and Noble doesn't exist, Lux, that's why I love Lux. Lux, you my homie. Lux always be saying, Lux always be having that. I can't win with Lux. Lux, I like you, man. I like you. We gotta meet one day, Lux Travel. I really like you. I like this dude. I like this. He keeps me in check. I like that. He keeps me in check. That's good. I like that. You do it in a polite way too. I like it. I like the way you keep me in check. I meant figuratively, but that's good. I like how you keep me in check, Lux. That's a good thing. I don't know. We're not arguing. I'm not trying to win. Don't misunderstand, bro. It's not like that with me. You guys should know me by now. I'm not like that. I'm not like that arguer. I'm not an arguer. I'm just telling you how I think. I'm listening to what you think, and then that's where we at. And then, and if I really take an L, I will admit it. As you know, Lux, when it was about the black women thing, right? You said something mind your fucking mental. And I was like, yeah, I gotta take the L. because we're not going to do that here, you know? So, yeah, I'm not trying to win, bro. I'm just saying I'm going to get wealthy. You still welcome to come to my yacht and everything. I'm going to just tell you the plastic joke. You guys know the plastic joke? Hold on. Danny is shorting Archer and buying puts. I have no idea what that means, Danny, but I hope you make some money. I'm glad I was able to help. The plastic joke is in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. His friend came to him from the war, and his friend was like, George, I'm into plastics right now. It's really big. You should get in it with me. And George goes, nah, Ernie, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know about plastics. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stick to the savings and loans. And Ernie was like, okay, George, okay, don't worry. I'll put something in for you. And years later, when George was belly up and he had no money, and he managed to get some of the money, he was still short. His friend Ernie was a big, wealthy dude. He calls him and he says, hey, George, remember about that plastics thing? Well, guess what, George? You're a millionaire. I put some in for you, and it's done really well. I'm sending you the wire tomorrow. And George comes to the phone. He's like, I did it. Yes, I did it. No, he didn't do shit. His boy looked out for him. But the point is, that's the plastic joke. So don't worry, Lux. I'm going to put a little bit in for you, okay? I'm going to put 10%. I'm going to put 2% aside and set up a trust in your name, Lux Travel. And you got to donate it to people to travel, though. I'm going to put a little bit aside for you. It's enough to go around. I'm gonna hop on this. I'm telling you, man, I'm hopping on this. I might just make my whole channel about this. I think I should just make my whole channel about this company. I see good things. Because I was gonna do a channel like that. I was gonna buy some stock every month, like $500 to $1,000. I was gonna buy some stock every month with you guys, and we watch it, every month. I was gonna take $12,000 and put it into investing and show you guys, just show you guys me buying stock and investing, every month, $6,000 to $12,000, really more like $12,000 a year, and just do that, And I thought that would be a great YouTube channel. I just buy stock and then we come on and we watch it. We see what's happening. We see if I make some money. We see if I lose some money. Just watch it. Watching lives and commenting. Okay. That's what's up. Puts and calls is options terminology. If you don't know if you don't know, yeah, well, I told you I'm not good at options, man. I'm not good at options. I failed that. That's why I didn't become a broker. So, but I'm good at investing. I'm just bad at options. I know what shorting is, but I don't know what you're talking about, the puts. I know what shorting is. It's like borrowing stock and shit like that. I mean, you saying something about the price. It's either you're borrowing. If I remember correctly, shorting the stock means you're borrowing the stock. You're borrowing it from somebody at one price, and you're trying to sell it at a higher price and return them back their original stock. I remember correctly. That's what shorting is. Or it's trying to buy the stock at one price and sell it at a higher price. Something like that. Buy it at a lower price. So to buy it at a lower price and sell it at a higher price. Something like that. I remember correctly. But I told you already, I'm not good with options, man. But I'm good at this. I'm good at this part right here. So I got my one idea. See, all you can really do if you're an average person, like when you watch the movie Dumb Money, these guys have billions of dollars. They got billions of fucking dollars. And if you're an average guy like me, all you can do is work. What your work should be trying to find that one great opportunity. That's what your work should be. Your work should be trying to find that one great opportunity, and you ride with it. That's what your work should be, And I found my one great opportunity, and I'm going to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to rock with it. So That's me. I'm all in. You guys just gotta watch Dumb Money because I don't know. In the movie, he had a lot of support. So I don't know what's going on. In the movie, he had a lot of support. So I don't know what's going on. But in the movie, he had a lot of support from people. So you guys just gotta watch the movie and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Okay, buying at a higher price to sell at a lower price. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. So, no, that's vice versa. You got it backwards. Well, like I said, I'm not good with options, but I think you got it backwards. Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, that's what I just said. You borrow the stock and then you sell it and you think it falls and you buy it back at that lower price and return it to the person you borrowed it from. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, but it's funny because when I was sitting for my 7, that option part, I didn't really understand that shit till like 4 years later. I still don't understand it. It's just very complicated to do. I know they have tools that help you, but it's really expensive. I think it's really expensive. I'm not trying to babysit like that. Listen, I got my one idea, and good luck with that, Danny. Let me know how it goes. I got my one idea. That's what I'm doing. But hey, guys, before I go, don't forget to check out the Passport Bro comic Kickstarter campaign that we're running. If you guys are interested in pledging, you can go in and get your pledges in. Thank you for joining me, though. Nothing is mandatory. Nothing is conscriptionatory. I got my super chats on. Hey, Lux, did you hear I got my super chats? I got my super chats active. They gave me monetization, Lux. Shout out to Lux Travel. They gave me monetization. You guys really supported me and helped this grow really quick. This has only been a month, maybe less than a month. Really been a month, and I'm already monetized. So you guys have helped me grow really quick. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the support. I enjoy this time with you guys. I'm gonna experiment with open panels a little bit. So some of you guys I'm getting to know, like Lux. I don't got a problem with Lux. Tony, Phil Killer seems okay. I gotta get to know some of you names, but see, that's why I like UK Big Boss. See, that's why I like keeping it simple, because then I know everybody, Nat. Because then I know everybody, and I can bring you guys up. We can do panels. I don't really want to do panels all the time, but if there's something I think is a thing we could talk about, like for 5 to 10 minutes, then that's cool. But I don't really want to do panels too much. But I'm gonna probably do a couple of lives when we do panels. Like if I start showing you guys how I invest, then we could do panels because I can share the information. You guys can share information with me, and that's valuable. But I got like a couple more days left on this Kickstarter project. 13 days to go. We're trying to get $10,000 together to do this comic book, and so let me know if you have any questions about the project. And also, if you guys want to get your measurements done, I'm doing the measurements for clothes. If you click the QR code, I'm doing the measurements for clothes. You can get your measurements done for free right now. And just get your measurements done. That's all I'm saying. Just try the app. Just get your measurements done and try the app. It's real simple. You scan it. It's going to tell you what we're doing with the measurement part. And then you fill out the Google form. And then I'm going to send you the link to the app. And then you do your measurements. They come to me, and that's it. You do your clothing measurements, and that's it. So let's start with that. Let's start with just getting your measurements done. I'm going to put up some new stuff. So I got a couple of things going on, man. I got some things. We moving. Got a couple of things going on. So make sure you hit that up. This is the new landing page code. So I got the new everything up. It's the new landing page code. So you guys make sure you go take a look at that. Let me know what you think. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today. I don't know. Tomorrow I'll probably talk about Passport Bros and how I refer to that as like using the N word. Okay, I want to say when they say Passport Bros, they're really saying the N word, and that's why I'm against it. And I have a lot of receipts. I heard something today that just got me thinking like that's what's going on. You know, it's too hard to say. It's too contradictory to say African American men who travel and call us broken dusties, and you know it's too hard to say that when they know travel is expensive. So it's too hard to say that we're broken dusties. So you got to understand there's some rules. There's some rules with global white supremacy, and one of those rules is that they can't directly engage you. So they can't call you the N-word. They can't say African American. There's some rules that they can't do. So they created Passport Bros. But Passport Bro is really just the new N-word. There's nothing to admire about being called the Passport Bro. And we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I already got the live set up. So all right, people, I'll talk to you soon. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Damn, did I only do one show today? Or I did 2 shows. I did 2 shows today. Okay. So I'm still doing 2 shows a day. Growing this channel. Oh, make sure you go check out the movie. I got the movie up. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I'm gonna do the next movie. I'm gonna do is The Man. I'm gonna show The Man. That's the next movie I'm gonna do. You guys probably never seen The Man. I gotta find it. But once I find it, I'm about to show you guys The Man. Damn, that Spook Who Sat by the Door is growing. That movie is taking over. Crazy. So I'm about to do that. All right. I'm out of here. Thank you for your support. Once again, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.